Hello, my name is Jason Sheeran, and I want to welcome you to the Jasonverse. It was September on the island of Sodor, and all the engines were preparing for the annual fall harvest. One day, Sir Topham Hatt came to see Thomas at Tidmouth Sheds. "Thomas," he began, "today is the first day of school for the children, but all the buses have broken down. You must take the children to the schoolhouse." Thomas was delighted. "Yes, sir," he said happily, and he puffed away. When he got to the station, the children were waiting on the platform. They all boarded Annie and Clarabelle, and Thomas set off for the school. At first, things went well, and Thomas was puffing along the beautiful countryside and was making good time. Then they came to a bridge, and that was when Thomas suddenly stopped. The children were confused. They were wondering why the train had halted. The driver poked his head out of the window. "Thomas, what happened? Why have we stopped?" he asked. Thomas didn't reply. "The children are going to be late for school." Still nothing. Suddenly, Thomas bolted out of the tunnel and started going faster and faster. The children panicked and screamed in terror, and the driver called out to him. "Thomas, what the hell are you doing?" he exclaimed. Thomas still didn't answer. He just kept racing along the track, faster and faster. There was worse to come. Bertie the bus had run out of gas in the middle of the level crossing. His driver had gone to the nearest signal box to call for help. Then Bertie heard Thomas's whistle and saw him racing straight towards him. Bertie honked his horn, trying to get Thomas's attention, but there was no response. Meanwhile, the driver and fireman fought fiercely for control, desperately trying their best to stop Thomas, but their attempts were futile. Then Thomas finally spoke. No one could make out what he was saying, but his voice sounded creepy and demonic. Bertie also noticed that as Thomas was puffing towards him, that his pupils were gone and his eyes were blank white. After that, Thomas smashed through the gates and rammed into Bertie before getting derailed. It was at that moment Thomas woke up. What just happened?" He looked around and saw a terrifying sight. There was blood all over the coaches. "Cinders and ashes!" Thomas cried. "What the hell happened here?" "You crashed right into me is what happened," said a voice. It was Bertie. "Why did you go and pull a stunt like that, Thomas?" he exclaimed. Thomas was confused. "What are you talking about? I don't remember doing any of this," he replied. "The only thing I remember is stopping under that bridge before I... Thomas trailed off and his face went pale. "Before I blacked out." "You also said something very creepy and in a demonic voice," Bertie added. "I did?" Thomas asked. At that moment, James arrived with the breakdown train and with Sir Topham Hatt on board. "What on earth happened here?" he exclaimed. Bertie told Sir Topham Hatt what Thomas had said. "I see," he began. "Thomas, James will take you and Bertie to the works to be mended, and the workers will check you over for any faulty parts that may have caused you to black out. But I'm afraid you will have to be in there for at least 2 months. 2 months? Thomas exclaimed. "Maybe more. We'll try to fix you up sooner, but it's not likely." Then Sir Topham Hatt turned to Bertie. "As for you, Bertie, you are badly damaged. You might be in there for even longer than Thomas, which means I'll have to make other arrangements." "Sir, are the children all right at least?" Thomas asked nervously. Sir Topham Hatt walked over to investigate Bertie. Luckily, no one was in him at the time. Then he walked over to Annie and Clarabelle, and what he saw was very disturbing. He came back with very sad news. "Well," he began, "not only will I have to make arrangements with other engines, but I will also have a bunch of lawsuits on my hands." "Are they?" "I'm sorry, Thomas. They're gone." Thomas was horrified and started crying. "This was all my fault," he exclaimed. "No, it wasn't," Sir Topham Hatt assured him. "Like I said, You will go to the works where we will check you over to see what went wrong. James then began to load Thomas and Bertie onto a flatbed and took them to the works. To this day, no one knows for sure what happened, but there's a lot of speculation. Some say Thomas's brakes became faulty. Others say that he did what he did on purpose. And some say he was possessed by an evil entity of some kind. But whatever the reason was, this will be an incident that no one will ever forget. And as expected, Sir Topham Hatt was buried in piles of lawsuits from angry parents whose children were unfortunately killed in the crash. However, no one was impacted by this incident more than Thomas. He was traumatized by the incident and still blames himself for it. The other engines and Sir Topham Hatt tried to calm him down, but it was no use. On one tragic day, however, Thomas couldn't take the guilt or the pain anymore and jumped over an unfinished bridge to his death. He was never seen again.